Welcome to The Engaging Life, a podcast about using engagement equity to improve your relationship building skills in your personal and professional life. And now, here are your hosts, Brandon Suba and Angela Cheney.
Well, hello, Brandon.
Hey, Angela, what's happening?
Not a whole lot.
Ooh, there is a whole lot going on. We're
There
here
is.
in
We
the
are.
studio. You can see us live on YouTube. So if you're just listening to us today, thank you. But go check out the video. Season 2 is now. It's not streaming. Is it streaming? I guess I'm
No,
used
I
to.
don't think
hearing that
streaming's all right. It's available.
It's available on YouTube, and so you can see us in the studio. Which I must say, the studio looks top notch. We've got the sign, which
got
I
the
didn't
book.
see at first. The book and the bookshelf. We're
Very
missing.
exciting. We got our fake plants.
We're missing the kettle of fish, though, aren't we?
That's right. So in the last episode, I used an expression that Brandon had never heard, which we were talking about something. I said, "Well, that's a whole different kettle of fish,
Meaning like a whole different
a whole different thing."
conversation.
And so he didn't know what it meant. So I was like, I'm going to look it up so we can talk about it in the next podcast. And it turns out I used it incorrectly. The expression is not a different kettle of fish. The expression is fine kettle of fish. And it's actually supposed to be used to describe kind of a uncomfortable or messy situation. So like if you said, I'm hosting Thanksgiving this year and my two brothers aren't speaking, this is going to be a fine kettle of fish.
There, and I feel
It's
that.
supposed
Yeah.
to mean an uncomfortable situation. It's actually a Scottish term that came from people having picnics, and they would catch salmon, throw them in a kettle and boil them and eat them right there. And it was a mess.
So pulling a fish out of hot water, is that okay? Or did they?
They're Scots. They were drunk.
I can't feel my skin.
I can
Give
say
me the
that.
fish.
I can say that because I'm Scottish.
Oh, okay, that makes it okay.
So-
Well, how was
and
my
drunk.
Scottish? How was
Kidding,
my
I'm not.
how was my Scottish accent there?
It was really.
It was
It was
bad.
very fat bastardy. Thank you. It's very good. So.
I'm good to my belly. I guess now that people can see me, I can't do the weird behind the scenes stuff. I gotta.
Okay, so let's get to the point here.
Hey.
We're going to go back to some basics and talk about using engagement equity in social media, because this is really where the whole engagement equity concept was born, is with social media. And I know that I tend to get off topic and I like to talk about psychology and relationships and all that kind of thing a lot. But when it comes down to it, Pixel Fire is a marketing company.
Yep.
And we do use the engagement equity concept when we do work for clients and for ourselves. So I thought this would be a good back to basics, in season 2, since we didn't get around to it in season 1, to talk about it today. So just real quick, a little primer. Basically, engagement equity is quite similar to, if you've read Gary Vaynerchuk, anybody who is a fan of social media marketing or marketing in general should probably know who he is. And he wrote a very good book called Jab, 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 Right Hook.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing as engagement equity. So with Jab, 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 Right Hook, your jabs are giving value. So it's not making a sale. It's somehow giving value. Your right hook is the knockout punch, which means that's when you're doing your ask. And so engagement equity is the same thing. You give 3 different instances of value before you make the ask. And that's how you are earning the right to ask. With engagement equity, we encourage you to look at it like a piggy bank. So I've got an account here with my social media followers. And before I can take out some value from that account, I first have to put in kind of a 3-to-1 ratio. So I have to deposit before I can I just completely withdraw. Thank you. I completely lost the word.
I will say I like your concept a little better than punching people.
Don't tell Gary that.
Well, it is. I feel it's the old sales technique of like, get them where it counts.
It's more touchy-feely.
It is. And I can envision it better because I'm not going to punch my clients, but I can see making deposits with them. And then like I can physically see that withdrawal coming out.
Right. So very, very similar, whichever way that you want to think about it. But obviously you can use this in much more than social media. We talk about this all the time using engagement equity concepts, but we're going to try to focus on social media in this episode. We know how that goes.
Well, I wouldn't want this podcast to be a kettle of fish.
A fine.
Fine.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I've got tons of them. One thing my husband and I love to do is, because I say expressions and I get them wrong. I'm sure quite
I get
frequently.
wrong more than you do, I promise.
And every time I don't know what it means, we look it up. And some of them are just fascinating. Some of them are stupid, and they'll be like, nobody knows where that came from. But I have learned some really fascinating things. Like, I didn't know that about the Scottish people eating the salmon at it.
I didn't even know I could use kettle of fish as a saying.
Yeah.
So I've learned something.
And
today.
not a tea kettle.
It's not a tea kettle?
No, it's like a big kettle.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know why I couldn't get off the tea kettle. That makes way more sense.
Yeah, I would think it was quite large.
It's probably quite obvious too.
Salmon are.
Yeah.
Okay. So, one of the big things with engagement equity, with businesses using it, is not knowing what an ask is and not knowing what a deposit is. And so, one of the things that we counsel our clients on, or have to tell them this is why we're doing your social media the way that we're doing it, is because a lot of businesses think that invitations are making a deposit. Come to my open house, come to my event. They think that's a deposit. It is not. They think that doing pictures of inventory or pictures of food, they think that is a deposit. It is not. Because what are you really saying?
Come by and eat this food.
Yes.
Yep.
Come, yeah.
Well, come buy this food. That's like, come on by and eat this food.
That works too. So those are not saying things like, look at our new website. They might be thinking, hey, we've got a great new website and they'll love it. That's a deposit. It's not.
Nope.
So anytime you are requesting an action, whether that is to click on the link, whether that is to come to an event, no matter how much value you think is in that, it's really an ask.
And you say this a lot, you're asking for their time.
Yeah.
So if you want to just cut it down to the bare
effort.
bones. Yeah. So even clicking the link, that is time. There are times that I'm like, I want to read this article, but I just don't have the time for clickbait today.
Yeah.
But then other days I'm like, today's the day.
I got it.
Click.
Yep.
All the time in the world.
I got it. So those are all asks. So what actually is a deposit when it comes to social media for business?
Are you asked? Oh, I know this because we've done this one before.
Pop quiz.
A fun fact about hamburgers.
Yep. A fun fact about something, hopefully that has something to do with your business.
We were on the food thing, so I went with hamburgers, but sure.
A fun fact is great. A helpful article.
Yep.
Granted, you are asking them to read it, but you're giving them the option.
Yep.
But it has to be something that's not selling. Not selling. So, for example, you are in mortgage. So sharing a stat or an article or a graph or something talking about how mortgage rates are expected to rise in the next year, something like that would be a deposit.
And to legally say, I did not say anything about rates in this podcast.
No, we did not. We don't know if they're rising. We don't know if they're falling. Nobody knows. So that would be a deposit as long as you don't have anything of contact me when you're ready to,
yes.
don't sell in it.
I'm going to jump ahead, but that's the big one.
Mm-hmm.
People mess that up. Okay, get back to it.
Yep.
Sorry.
Entertaining is always good. Jokes, memes, anything like that.
I love memes.
And there are a lot of people, my husband always comes into this, the main reason he looks at social media is to get a laugh.
Oh, sure.
It's entertaining. Anything that will make him laugh or make him smile, he loves. So whether it relates to your it's great if you can do something that kind of makes, jabs a little bit at your business because everybody loves it when people make fun of themselves. But any jokes or memes, unless you're in a super serious type of business and it's not appropriate, there may be some times when that is not appropriate. But for the most part,
I didn't say like a mortuary. We have commercials where they pull up next to a car of people like smoking or something. They're like, "We'll be your next ride." I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I guess it depends on your clientele. Who your target audience is. Another one that I think is really great is giving props to somebody you work with.
Ooh, yeah.
So a partner, if say our team goes out to eat at a local restaurant and we love it, taking pictures of that and giving a shout out to that team, that's a great deposit. Not only to the people who are looking at your social media saying, "Ooh, that looks good," but also to the person or company or restaurant or whoever that you're talking about.
Mhm.
It's a huge deposit for them. So giving a review or, just talking good about somebody else, without saying go use them, go do this.
Right.
Anything like that is a deposit. So it's anything that's engaging, interesting, or is going to make somebody laugh. That is a deposit. Anything that is not an ask, no CTAs, no calls to action. You're not trying to get people to do anything other than be engaged with what you're posting.
Mhm. And it's hard. It's hard
It is.
because, and I'm going to use our newer analogy that we had, because it's very easy to be a puppy with a new toy, right? And hey, look at this, look what I got, look what I got. But it's accepting that you have to make deposits before you can withdraw.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things that we love doing with our social media, now, if you don't do ads on social media, you want to hit a 3-to-1 ratio with your posts. And that means 3 deposits for every 1 ask. So we are never saying don't ever do an ask on social media.
Otherwise, you're missing the point.
You're missing the point. And also, people don't like it. If they are getting value from you, eventually they're going to want to give something back. And that might not mean they're going to do business with you. It might be a like, it might be a share, it might be, something like that. But people are going to want to do something, and people want to do the right thing. So they kind of they want to be told what to do. Unfortunately, I mean,
don't we all?
Yeah, for the most part, because otherwise they're going to be like, okay, I've been engaging with them forever. They never asked me for anything. I'm starting to feel kind of guilty.
Or they'll engage in a negative manner thinking they're doing something
Right.
great. And you're like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Nope. So yeah, just like we do in our CTAs all the time, we ask people to subscribe.
Yeah.
We ask people to share. We ask people to write a review because those are the things we want.
Mhm.
If we're giving you some value, this is what we would love. So hopefully, throughout our half hour, 45-minute show, however long it is, we've given enough value that we can make that ask at the end. And people are like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
I got some smiles out of this. I got some good information. I can give them a like, so make sure you're doing that. So that's how you do it if you don't run ads on social media. Now, if you do run ads on social media, that is your ask.
Oh.
So the ads are the full ask. So all of your posts should be value. And don't try to give value with your ads because it's an ad.
Right.
People understand that ads are all about the ask. And they're not for giving value.
Mm-hmm.
It might be confusing to people. It should have a click here, do this, do that, buy from me, whatever your CTA is. But if you're running ads, all of your posts on social media should be value. And then your ad is the boom punch.
Nice.
And if somebody's doing your social media correctly, the same people who see your posts are going to be the same people who see the ads so that it can all work together. So we're not saying do all of this on social media and then do a billboard ad, and that's your ask, because you could be reaching 2 very different audiences. So now you've got your audience on social media who all you do is give value to, and then you've got your people who are driving on I-80 and all you do is ask for things.
Yep.
Not going to work out so well. But that's how those 2 things should kind of work together.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this can be hard in some industries because, like, the industry you're in is highly regulated.
Yep.
And there are some other industries that maybe have a word in there that you can't use on social media.
Oh, sure.
Are selling a product that might be, not necessarily dirty.
Right.
But Facebook is getting really, they're cracking down on stuff.
It shocks me how many words you can't use on TikTok and the Reels and stuff. Even vaccine. I don't think you can use the word vaccine because everybody does like a V * whatever. And it's just like, really? That one? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, yeah, it can be tough depending
Mm-hmm.
on what industry you're in, but that's why you work with a professional who knows how to cut through that red tape or knows that, hey, we can't really market this on social media. Let's try something else.
Well, and I was going to say very regulated, very heavy regulated with what I can do. But when I looked at what is approved, though, it's all value.
Mm-hmm.
So there's almost a piece to it, too, where with a larger company, they want to make sure that you're not just asking for sale because they know. The marketing strategy knows you're not going to get anything out of this. Let us help you build that value. And then when you maybe see them at an event or you're face-to-face, then you have the deposits in there.
Yeah. And everything works together We never tell any of our clients that all they should be doing is social media marketing because that's not how it works.
That's just crossing your fingers.
Yeah. But what you do want to do, you want to have a media mix, which means use multiple avenues, but you've got to make sure that you have your brand set and that you've got the same story that you're telling everyone. So kind of a great example of the wrong way to do it is if on social media you're saying, hey, don't go with the cheapest. We have value. We have expertise. We're going to do it the right way. It's going to get done correctly. If you're telling that story on social media and then you go to a coupon book and start offering half off, or you do a billboard that says lowest prices in town,
Yep.
something like that, it's going to confuse people, number one. Number two, it can make people angry because if they decide to buy from you on social media and pay full price because you've convinced them that it's worth it, and their friend goes over here and gets your service for half price, it's going to be very confusing. So you do have to make sure you're telling the same story over all of the avenues. And that's branding.
Yep.
And you also want people to know what to expect. So like you said with a mortuary, if that's what you're going to do, that's fine.
Yep.
If you've identified that, hey, we've got maybe a more hip clientele. I don't know how that works in mortuaries. You're marketing to the grandchildren of the people dying rather than the children or the dying people themselves.
You eventually have to shift.
Yeah.
Shift to that other.
But make sure you keep that going. So don't be very, very, very serious in one of your marketing efforts and then very flippant with your social media.
Right.
Because that's going to be, then you're going to blend and you're going to get the serious people who see the social media and be like, whoa, that's offensive. So you've really got to keep that in mind.
And I think with taking that concept overall, it will keep a consistency to your marketing. Because I think especially new entrepreneurs, they are all over the board. And I've seen,
I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try this.
And I've seen this here. A picture of it, they'll come in and they'll be like, well, somebody told me about this. And you've spent 2 years telling this story and everything. And they're just like, but I want to go do parachutes now. You're like, what? You don't do parachute? I know, but somebody told me it works. It's like, stick with what you're doing and you're going to get the results.
It's the good marketing does not provide instant results.
Correct.
It's just not the way it works because it's branding. It's the long haul. You have to look at it over the long haul. So I think that's really important. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule. And what I was going to say before I switched is giving people what they expect is huge value. That's a huge deposit. Because a lot of the times people want to be comfortable. They want to know what's coming. I mean, life is unpredictable enough. Weird stuff's going to happen to you every day that you didn't expect. You want to be able to count on some things. And if you can be that company that brands yourself in a way that they know what to expect from you when it comes to your marketing, when it comes to them doing business with you, when it comes to them seeing you at an event, it's very, very comforting for most people.
Right.
And that's huge value. Okay, that's what I wanted to say before I moved on.
Okay.
So the exceptions to the rule, there's always exceptions. One of those is restaurants. Now, we did talk about them before. Doing food pictures for restaurants, it's an ask, but that's what people expect.
Yeah.
That's what people want to see.
Yep.
Before I go eat at this place, you can read about it on the menu, but there's just nothing like seeing it. It's just like recipe books without pictures. Those are so stupid.
But they fancy up the pictures so much.
That's what people want to see.
I know.
That's what people want to see.
I want to see what I'm going to get.
Have you seen the restaurants that do pour photography? Yeah. Do you really want to go there?
No.
See?
Oh, my dad was in the food business. I know how important it is.
And if you're a restaurant and you're doing social media and you're not doing professional photography,
Stop.
Just
if you're snapping them before you take them off the cook line to take them out, you might want to give a couple extra minutes.
It's not that hard. I mean, you don't have to go invest in professional photography equipment. You don't have to hire a professional photographer. I mean, phones can do some pretty good pictures now, but you have to have good lighting. It has to be plated correctly. Pair it with a drink. There's plenty of examples on social media of how to do how to do the pictures right. But that is what people want to see. That will make them come in. So it's kind of an exception. You don't want to only do food pictures. We do social media for a couple of restaurants here in town, and we do fun memes. We have one who's a Mexican restaurant, and they have very good margaritas.
Oh.
So we'll do memes, about one margarita, two margaritas, things like that. National Margarita Day.
Of course.
You do something about that. So we do try and mix it up. It's not just picture, 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 picture. But that is a little bit different because people do want to see that. And that's the same with like entertainment. So if you have an entertainment venue, you're going to want to post what the shows are. You are going to want to post when tickets are available.
How to get the tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people are coming to those sites to see those things. They're coming to your social media to see those things because that's what they expect. That's what gets them to take action. So if you're a restaurant and you're not doing any pictures of your food,
start.
Yeah, you're not giving value.
Right.
Actually. And if you're an entertainment venue and you're not saying what events are coming up, you're not giving value.
I feel the two exceptions, and I'm sure there's a few more in the world, but I feel those are also something that people generally talk about more, maybe making deposits for you, even though you don't know, right? They had a great experience. It's very, well, I guess I don't hear this much, but it's pretty rare that you go to an insurance agent, have a great experience, and then that's all you talk about with all your friends for the next few weeks. But if you go to an entertainment and you see a show, you're like, oh my gosh, this show is amazing. I need to tell everybody. I kind of feel your exceptions fall under that concept where when you post a picture, of the billboard or the playbill. I think that's what I was going for. Is that the front picture? Playbill.
I think the playbill is more if you go to see a play and it tells you like when the scenes are and stuff.
So okay, so not that. Well, you could put not that. You put the poster on there, whatever. People have probably already talked about it, and so you have deposits you don't even know, and so it's not as much as a withdrawal as I'm an insurance company. Come work with me.
Right.
Boom.
Right. And another thing that I wanted to talk about with social media that is not posting, but is still giving huge value, because I've seen this as a marketing professional, I've seen this as a consumer, is you have got to keep your information updated on those pages.
Yes.
There is nothing worse than, say, it being a holiday or a Sunday and you want to go out to eat and you say, I don't know where to go. I'm going to go check their social media page and see if they're open.
And 9 to 5 today. We're good.
Either it's not there at all.
Oh, I hate that.
Or it's incorrect. That is, and that was the worst during COVID. When
hours
were changing all the time and all the rules were changing. And so the ones who were doing it right were keeping that updated at all times. I mean, how easy is it to make sure you go into and update your hours?
And I still see some places I know you can go dine in and they will say carry out only. That's from the old COVID days. Nope.
They haven't changed it.
Nope.
And not just keep, all the information filled out. And you have to keep up on it because even if you do it once, algorithms change, the format changes. Sometimes it's gone. Sometimes it's, you have to keep up on it. Check it weekly. And then the other thing is if there is a holiday, so we just had the 4th of July holiday.
Woo!
I wanted to go out to eat on the 4th because we had our party on the 3rd.
Of course.
And so we're looking for something to do on the 4th. And so I went to several different pages, Facebook pages, to see if they were open. And I chose one that they posted something about it. Hey, 4th of July holiday, we're open. We want to have you. We're open 2 to 10. Okay.
Heck yeah.
I know they're open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go there. It is not hard to put a posting up. There aren't that many huge holidays.
And you can schedule them.
Yeah. Post when you're going to be open. If it's a place where people walk in. Obviously, Pixel Fire, nobody cares. If we're open or not, they're not going to try and walk in.
UPS guy does. But...
Yeah, well, we tell him. But if it's a store, if it's entertainment, if it's a restaurant.
If a consumer's going to go there, you're going to benefit getting that updated information out because you may have a consumer that chooses the one person that said they're open versus rolling the dice. And I hate rolling the dice.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
Absolutely. And say, Mother's Day, Father's Day, say if reservations are required.
Yes.
Just put it out there because most of the time, I think what a lot of business owners make the mistake of doing is people want to know, they'll call and ask. Yeah, most of them won't.
Nope.
They want it to be easy. People want things to be easy.
I also find it harder and harder to call businesses anymore.
Oh,
Because a lot of the automated, and I get it,
Yes.
if you're just looking for locations and times, you're going to get that in the automation. And then I'll be like, no, you didn't answer my question. So then I'll wait. And then it rings. Sometimes no one answers. And then sometimes they do answer. And it's like the one person that showed up a little early to do this one thing has no idea what's going on in the business. And they answer.
Yep.
And you're just like, this has gone downhill quick. And then you just go
Yep.
on. You move on.
Yep, absolutely. And a lot of people won't even take that next step. A lot of people won't even take the next step to click to your website from your Facebook page.
Right.
They want things to be easy, user-friendly. It's got to be right there. Otherwise, your competitor is going to be doing it, and they'll just go there.
Yep.
So with social media, if you don't have someone in your company who's dedicated to it and who knows what they're doing, you're really better off hiring someone, because
Consistency.
having that whole, well, we'll have the receptionist do it when she has time.
Oh my gosh.
Or we'll have one of the servers do it before they go on shift. Or we'll have the owner do it. Well, the owner just got busy and all of a sudden nothing's been done for 2 weeks. That always happens because it's not their main job. It's not their main priority. And if you really get down to it, marketing should be the main priority for all businesses.
Yes.
And so just pushing it off onto someone who doesn't know what they're doing, it's not a priority. It's such a huge faux pas.
Ooh, I was gonna say detriment, but I like faux pas.
You like faux pas?
I do. I know what it means.
You do.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
I don't. Yeah.
I don't know what it
In
literally
words.
what it literally translates. It's
Yeah,
a
I know.
mistake. It's a mistake.
Oh, that was easy.
Yeah, I don't know what. Now I'm gonna have to look it up. We'll talk about it in the next episode. What it
Kettle of fish.
literally translates to. But yeah, have somebody that is focused on it, who makes it a priority, or work with someone who can help you out. Any final thoughts on social media and marketing? This is kind of a shorter one, but I just wanted to go back to the basics here, because we will be talking about this throughout the show, using the jab, 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 right hook, or using the deposit, deposit, deposit withdrawal. So just get that concept out there and talk about it with social media, because that is where the concept was born.
Yeah, you're the expert on this. I really don't have much left to say. I just reiterate don't hand this off to the one person in the office that you think can handle it, because to me, social media, all the things you talked about are very important. I think it's a step above most, but it's consistency is the big piece, right? If I go to a Facebook page and I haven't seen they posted last year, that was their last post, there's a lot of questions.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of questions.
You think they might be closed.
Yeah.
You think something happened.
So that's where the value of having somebody do this piece for you. And I think early days of social media, before it was so everybody was doing it, yeah, you probably could have gotten away with just the random front desk clerk doing it.
Sure.
But now it is how people get their information. They're not going to a phone book. They may not even be Google. Well, you're going to show up on Google, but they want, like you said, the shortest path to get my answer.
Yes.
And social media is a great way to have that shorter path.
Absolutely. So thank you everyone for listening and possibly watching.
Booyah!
Remember, we're on YouTube now. You can see all the fantastic
Conversation.
the fantastic facial expressions of Brandon. It's a reason enough to tune in. But we thank you for listening. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear those. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and leave us a review if you like what you've heard. We would love to have those reviews on there. So
you can leave us a review if you don't like what you heard, but hopefully you're not listening anymore.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you don't like us,
We
that's
prefer
fine.
not
That's
so.
fine.
So thank you for listening to the Engaging Life podcast, and we'll talk to you next time.